Well, my name is Naeem Wynn. I'm from Washington, D.C., born and raised Washingtonian, 21 years old. I've been here my entire life. I love the city, man. Like, my blood is Washington, D.C., man. Like, everything I know, like, I got a beat of go-go going through my heart. Like everything I know is Washington, D.C. So, like, I've been, all over the country, never been outside of the country yet. But I've been exposed to a bunch of different cultures, and I can't say that Washington, D.C. has, like, this unique, like, flavor to it, like, this unique, like, this like heartbeat that everybody is attracted to. Like, that's why you come to Washington, D.C. now. Like, a lot of people come to the city from all over the world just trying to feel what the nation's capital is. Like, a lot of people call this country the best country in the world. But right now we're sitting in like the nation's capital, the capital of the best country in the world, quote unquote. So like a lot of people want to feel that heartbeat. So I'm born and raised Washingtonian all day, every day. So I've been a salesperson since as long as I can consciously remember. Since I was probably like, 13, 14 years old. Of course, we all start out, different situations, man. But, man, I started out selling clothes. Like, my father, he used to go to storage units and, he used to go to storage units and buy storage units of clothes and storage units of furniture. He's a painter, but he's an entrepreneur. So, like, he's a salesperson, too. Like, I watched my father, like, sell his whole life. He's a painter, abstract painter, like, I grew up listening to Miles Davis, John Coltrane, waking up in the morning, hearing them saxophones, and watching my father wake up off the early morning trying to go out and, sell something, make some money, being an entrepreneur. So, like, I've always been a salesperson, man. Like, he used to go to storage units. He used to get big boxes of clothes, like brand new clothes from the high-end designers, Polo, Ralph Lauren, Tommy Hilfiger, that people just didn't have, they just left. And they just, they put it in a storage unit. They couldn't pay their storage unit fees, so the storage unit company, they sold their storage units. My father was one of the people that was buying them. So I have a bunch of clothes. I go to school and sell the clothes, like, and I go from there, getting different things, selling a bunch of other things, and, just hanging out in the neighborhood that I grew up in. I was just always surrounded by sales and commerce and entrepreneurship, whether it been positive or negative. It was just always around me all day, every day. So then eventually, once I became like 18 years old, after getting in trouble a few times, through some of my entrepreneurial endeavors, I was put in a position where I had to make a change. I had to find guidance. I had to find leadership. And the first sign of leadership that I found was up at UDC, a mentor by the name of Pernell Pinkney. He's a metaphysics professor, and basically his philosophy is, I think, therefore I am. And the things that you think every single day, the thoughts that you go through your mind process are the manifestation of your reality. They will manifest your reality no matter whatever you're thinking. If it's positive or negative, the things that you think will create the reality that you see, whether it takes a day, a week, a month, a year. Eventually, your thoughts will create the reality that you live every single day, because we are literally the remote controller to the universe through our thought process. So this is what he started teaching me, and I just started realizing that I needed to start asking better questions. That my problem wasn't that I wasn't ambitious. It wasn't that I didn't have the juice or I didn't have what I needed, the resources to get where I was trying to go. It was simply that I wasn't asking the right questions. So then once I started asking the right questions, like, how do I become successful in a positive way? How do I impact my people in a way where they can be inspired by the things that I do, opposed to jealous by the things that I do, or opposed to not being inspired? They just glamorized by it. How can I inspire my people by the things that I do? And he said, first thing you got to do, Naeem, is you got to find purpose. You got to find your purpose and live a purpose-filled life. What is purpose? It's something that you wake up thinking about every single day, that was put into your mind by not somebody else in the world, but by the universe, by God, by an unknown source, and it just came to you. And it's so powerful that not only it benefits you, Naeem, but it also benefits everybody else around you. And when I say benefit, I don't mean like it's like a recreational thing, like it's just helping them have fun. It's like an actual benefit to them. It's value. So then he started explaining the system that we live in, capitalism, how we live in the United States, and it's a capitalist society, and you're either buying or selling. You're either on this side or this side. You're either producing a product to sell to somebody, or you're purchasing a product or service from somebody else, no matter what situation you're in. So he just started breaking down what money was. Money is value. It's the value that we place on ourselves. Like, as valuable as you become as an individual, is much money you're worth, as much money you're able to obtain. So if your skill only allows you to make $10 an hour, and that's the only type of job you can get is if you look for employment. Like traditionally, young people come out of high school, come out of college looking for employment, and traditionally they settle with traditional jobs that pay anywhere from $10 to $15 an hour. That means that their skill level, their knowledge of themselves is only equating them their time to be worth $10 to $15 an hour. But a person like myself that has done countless hours of study, countless hours of developing my skill, I know that my skill is worth X amount of dollars an hour. So I can place power on that, and I can go out into the arena of the world of this country, and I can say, hey, I'm a marketer. I know that if I put your product in my hands and I put it through the system that I develop, I can get your fan base from point A to point B in X amount of time. And I know how much that's worth for you, because if your product is selling for $30 a piece, and I know I can get it in from 1,000 people in the next month or 1,000 people in the next 2 weeks, then you'll make $30,000 to $60,000 off of me doing what I'm gonna do. So I just need a percentage of the value that I'm gonna bring to you, which right now is 20%. So I would get 20% of the value that I'm projecting based upon the skill that I have for your product. So it's like thinking on that level, thinking as an entrepreneur, thinking on ownership, because I could easily be doing what I'm doing for another company. I could give me a marketing job, and I can work for a company that's doing marketing for other companies, and I can be, an employee, and I can, instead of me getting 15% or 20% of the total, that 30,000, I would be getting 1%, 2%, 3%, but it's because I'm not in ownership, because I don't have the conscious thinking right now for me to be able to take ownership over what's actually going on, my skill, and directing it where I want to direct it. So I started out with that, man. Like, he gave me information that just consciously boosted me and gave me a new perspective on skill and value and how I could place myself. And then from there, man, I just went hunting. I saw this movie called Wall Street. It's back in the 80s, before The Wolf on Wall Street, which is probably what you're thinking about. It was a fucking great movie. It's a great movie, man. Like, so basically, it was a movie before that. It was called Wall Street, and it was about Gordon Gekko. He was like the Jordan Belfort before Jordan Belfort. So basically, this guy, he's like, one of the top Wall Street dudes, investment banking guys, venture capital, whatever you want to call him. So basically, he's, this ideal, he's got this penthouse office, he's got on the white collar suits, he's got a $5,000 tailored suit, he's got this huge office with the velvet chairs and the velvet wood grain desk with the nice crafted arms on the side. Got this back in the 80s. He's got about 3-4 cell phones. So don't nobody got cell phones back then. He's got TVs all in his office. Don't nobody got color TVs for real. So he's got the Jaguar. It's just this whole lifestyle that at the time when I saw the movie, 18 years old, coming out of middle class society, I had no idea that people was making this kind of money doing what he was doing. I didn't even know what he was doing. When I first saw it, I'm like, what is he doing? Is he like a mathematician, or is he a computer scientist? But then when I started watching the movie, he is simply a finesser. He's a vicious middleman. He's a middleman between a company and a person trying to invest in a company. A person with money, a regular person that has money in their pocket that they want to invest in the system that we live in, a capitalist society. That's the whole premise of it. These companies that this broker works for is basically, he's just like me, he's a marketer. He's just like me, he's a salesperson. He takes the product that they have, their portfolio, let's say it's IBM. IBM, they just IPO'd, it's been a public company, but let's say they just IPO'd, initial public offering, and they just offering the public, stocks so that people can invest in their money, which is equity in the company. So like at a certain point, companies get so big, they have to, stop being greedy, and they have to let the public in on what they're doing. I said, man, I can do that. That dude, he ain't no different than me, even though I'm a black male, he's a white male, and he's a lot older than I am. I'm only 18 years old right now, I can do that. Then I started doing some research and found out that I can get my Series 7 license and my insurance license all by just being 18 years old and paying the fees. So once I realized that, I was like, okay, it's possible now. I can do it right now. I don't have to wait. I don't have to go to school for 4 years, come out, or I don't have to go up New York and work for a brokerage, because then I realized that I could start my own brokerage. After doing more research, if I got these licenses, got a couple clients, made some money, I could start my own brokerage, and I could start hiring other people and training other people. And they only had to be 18 years old. That means I could empower my brothers and sisters to do what I was doing. So basically, to make it easy on myself, I found Apprenticeship, with a mentor in that field, like what I've done in every field, because it's proven to be a good strategy as far as getting to a high skillful level in a fast time period, instead of wasting, years and years and years trial and error, studying and studying. You get behind somebody that has some knowledge in that field, and you can learn some good stuff in a quick amount of time. You'll get rid of all those mistakes that you would have ran into because you got somebody in front of you that has already gone through those mistakes. So that's the first thing I did, man. Like I was telling you when we was on our way up here, guys out Herndon, like they had a brokerage out there. It just so happened that one of my friends that went to middle school with me, man, like the universe makes no mistakes, man. That's what I've always believed, man. Like I was on a train one day, and it's my first year at UDC, right after me and my mentor, like he told, like I was on the train and I saw my homie Stanley Travers, man. We went to first grade together. Like we went to first grade all the way to sixth grade, and then we kind of like, I ain't seen him since then. So this is my first year in college. That's like 6-7 years after I didn't seen him for real. And I gave my number, we caught up, and a week later I got a phone call from this lady named Jennifer Lee. She's basically one of the lead directors at this financial brokerage that I eventually got a position in. And she called me in for an interview, and she said she got my number from Stanley Travis because he was working with them, and they was looking for more people that was entrepreneurial minded. So she called me, and man, I sat down with her, and this was like right after I saw that movie, bruh. So like you gotta imagine my thought process, like dang, hold up. You mean that Stanley Travis, who I ain't never haven't seen in damn near 6-7 years, gave my number to somebody named Jennifer Lee, who's working in finance, who just called me in for an interview after I just watched this movie and just set a goal to be in a position like this person who I saw in the movie. And this position is the position that is gonna put me in that situation. So I was like, oh, you gotta imagine, my thought process like, dang, hold up, I think therefore I am, hold up, that's a real thing. Like he told me that, I did it, and it started working immediately. It's like the universe stepped out my way as soon as I set the goal. It's like the universe is like Moses, part the sea, and this is a clear path. Like, go ahead, boom, there you go. All your resources, everything you need to get where you're trying to go is right in front of you. All you gotta do is think, and therefore you are. And man, from there, man, I did that finance for about 1.5 years, made some good money, met a lot of people, and it got boring, to be honest with you. It got extremely boring. I like wearing the suits, I like making the money, I like talking to people, I like the sales, but it was just, it wasn't purposeful. And I wasn't helping my people, like I was helping people that were, people that had some type of money. Like I wasn't educating for real the young people in my community. It was more so just me making money for real, and it was boring. It was like, this isn't purpose. Like I don't feel purposeful doing this. Then I realized that the skills that I learned how to do, like the organizing, the management, the sales, the marketing, the client apprehension, just the overall being able to set up this whole business, knowing the inner workings of this business, which is the basic business structure for everything else. Once I realized that I had all these tools in my possession, in my mind, and I could go back in my mind and I could think of everything that I learned. Once I realized that I had that in a headlock, I was like, man, now I'm about to use these skills and find something that I feel is purposeful, that's more in line with my purpose. And as I told you, my father, he's a painter.